By Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome in Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, and thanks, as always, for making me and us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Happy Friday to everybody out there. You finally made it to the weekend, and it's going to be a great one, a beautiful one here in Fayetteville and across the entire state of Arkansas. We're going to have plenty to talk about today. Going to talk a little basketball, going to talk a little football, going to look around the SEC. Got a new sponsorship announcement that we're really excited about. And, of course, we're going to get to your phone calls and to your chats, all that good stuff. 478-344-6623 is the number to call in. And, of course, again, we'll get to your chats. Now, you're probably sitting there wondering, in case you didn't know about the announcement, that Curtis and Andrew are not on the show right now. But they will be. So they are actually traveling down there to Fort Worth for Arkansas and TCU tonight in the exhibition game, and they'll be joining us later in the show. So don't worry, it's not going to be me for an hour and a half because nobody wants that. Not even my own mom. Nobody wants that. So either way, we're going to talk about a few things, and again, you can get to the chat, get to the phone calls. You know, we'll do that. We'll make it to where you all can be the co-host for at least a little bit until Andrew and Curtis hop on the show. Something like that. But either way, you probably see the title of the show. And just like all the time, it seems like when it comes to the title of this show, people have a certain feeling about it. They take it a certain way. They get frustrated by it. They say all the horrible things. They call me names, whatever it is. But I wanted to bring it up because we've been talking a lot of football and basketball, kind of going back and forth this week, because as we are in the thick of things with Razorback football, no doubt, people are excited about basketball. I think that football, there's still some cautious optimism there for what could happen in these Final Four games. But the excitement level for basketball is at an all-time high. So just keep that in mind when you think about this week going into next week, especially with the bye week and everything. It's going to be electric and it's going to be awesome. And even tonight with the TCU game, which is not on TV, so you need to follow Curtis and Andrew and Inside Arkansas if you want to check it all out and be able to get updates on that. But I titled this stream today, the show today, about John Calipari and titles. He's going to bring Arkansas a title. Now, I am including various titles into that. Sure, a national title would somewhat be nice. But I'm also referring to other titles too. An SEC title, regular season title, a tournament title. That right there is what is a reasonable expectation for Arkansas, at least for me. I don't know how long Cal is going to be the head coach at Arkansas. I know his contract says that he's going to be here until, I guess, 5 years, I believe is what the contract officially said. So you're talking about 5 years. Let's just assume that he will be here all 5 years. And let's assume that there's no insane major changes, groundbreaking changes when it comes to college basketball that ends up being problematic or causing any issues or anything like that. Let's just all assume that, okay? I believe during that 5-year span that Arkansas is at minimum going to be able to win an SEC title, whether it's regular season or tournament. I believe that is a very, very reasonable thing. If you want to take a comparison of what Cal was able to do at Kentucky, you know, this is what's crazy. First off, I forgot, or at least I sometimes forget, that Arkansas in the SEC had divisions in basketball. They still have them in baseball. Hopefully they get rid of that soon because they finally got rid of them in football. But in the first 2 seasons that Cal was at Kentucky, he won the SEC East as well as the regular season title. And then in his second year, he finished second in the SEC East, and I believe that was behind Florida. Okay? So after that is when the divisions got done away with. And here's what he was able to accomplish, just regular season. This is just regular season. You're talking about he won the SEC regular season title in 2012, tied for second in 13 and 14, which is crazy because in 13 they went to the NIT and got bounced by Robert Morris, but yet they still tied for second in the SEC regular season. Then he won it again in 15, won it again in 16, won it again in 17, fourth in 18, second in 19, then won it again in 20, then eighth, tied for second, third, and second. There the rest of the way. I think it's reasonable to believe that at some point in time in the next 5 years, John Calipari is going to have an SEC regular season title, which will kind of, and it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things because you got to be able to perform in the NCAA tournament. That's 100% what it's about. I think it's a nice little bonus if you're able to win a regular season. This is the argument I always got into with Alabama fans and Auburn fans, the new basketball fans. They were obsessed when Arkansas would be able to go further in the NCAA tournament than them. You know, that would be the trash talking point of Razorback fans. But as soon as they would revert back, they'd be like, well, yeah, you didn't get one of these banners, the SEC regular season title. I said, I don't care. I'd rather go to the Elite Eight and not win the SEC than get bounced in the second round and win the SEC. Because that's what big boy programs care about. So I want to make that clear. I'm not going to be content or happy with just winning the regular season of the SEC. However, there is something to be said about winning a regular season in the conference, especially when the conference is now 16 teams in total. Hopefully soon, as in next year, they move to a 20-game conference schedule. I think that benefits everybody. And for Arkansas to be able to accomplish that would be huge, considering that they haven't in like forever. In fact, the last time Arkansas won the regular season in the SEC was in the 90s, back when they were winning national championships. But here's why it's crucial, or at least would be nice, we'll say nice, to win the SEC regular season title if you're John Calipari in the next few years. The SEC has grown as a basketball conference. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the best, but there's no doubt that it has, over the past 10 years, become a much more dominant and a much more capable and competitive conference, not only for being able to go up against each other, but against other programs in the country. They have not won a title since Kentucky won the title back in 2012. They've had a few Final Four appearances since then, South Carolina being one of them with Frank Martin, which is still wild. But Alabama went this past year. So they're getting to that point. But when you add Oklahoma and Texas, which Oklahoma's not a good program, but Texas is. But when you add those teams and you got still Tennessee, Auburn, Alabama, programs that have come a long way, Texas A&M, even a South Carolina randomly. When you have all these programs that are involved and are doing so much better and are starting to really take shape and get noticed by the national landscape of things, if you're able to win that conference with those teams in there, suddenly that changes how you feel about going up against the rest of the competition. I mean, there was a time where the SEC would get 2 teams into the NCAA tournament. And we're talking about, I believe, I should have looked it up, but I believe around 7 teams in the top 25 this year, preseason. I know it's preseason, but still, 7 teams, potentially 9 teams getting into the tournament, maybe 10. I mean, that is an incredible transition from where they were as a conference to where they are now. And to be able to win that conference over teams like that, I mean, how do you not feel good about going into a tournament, into an NCAA tournament, feeling like you can win it all? Not to mention the fact that if you're able to win the SEC regular season, at worst, you're what, a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament? I'm not talking about the SEC tournament, regular season. I think at worst, you're at a 2 seed. And if it's Cal and Arkansas, they may bump them up to a 1 seed. So it's just been a long time since Arkansas has been able to experience that. Experience not only being a team that is highly seeded, but winning a conference title. I think Arkansas under Musk's 3 seed was the highest that they ever got to. And that's great and all. But I want to enjoy a little bit of the SEC play. I want to enjoy the beginning of it. I want to have some, I hated how it got to the point of, well, the net ranking is going to save you. Because it was pretty crazy a few years ago. I was thinking about Arkansas and how insane it was that they finished 10th in the SEC, but they got an 8 seed in the NCAA tournament. And it was all because of the net ranking. And it worked out, but man, that was a crazy time. But I believe that Cal's going to do it. I think Cal's going to bring an SEC title, regular season at the minimum. And I also believe that you're going to see a lot of fun this regular season. I'm talking about this year. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. Hopefully they continue to develop. And hopefully, as tonight even happens with Arkansas and TCU taking on each other, hopefully we get a chance to see a team grow and see some other guys develop. There's so much excitement about it. And I know we talked yesterday about what if it doesn't work out? What if the season's a bummer? No. Positive vibes only the rest of the way. This game against TCU doesn't count, but just imagine, Hog fans, just imagine if Arkansas goes out and they beat Baylor next Saturday, which is a game that does count down there in Dallas. Me and Curtis are going to be down there, but imagine if they win that. It's going to be hard not to start looking, oh, yeah, this team could win a title. Some of you may already be at that point, but it's really going to be hard to try to keep the excitement in there too. All right, again, folks, if you want in on the conversation, you can get to the chat. You can also get into the phone lines as well. 478-344-6623 is that number to call in. Finch is over here saying, I just got done rewatching the Kansas game, and I've already drank the Kool-Aid 100% in basketball. I'm going to be honest. I've watched the Kansas game probably 3 times, or at least the highlights, not the entire game, but at least the highlights I watched. So, yeah, I feel you on that one, man. I wanted to say War Machine, who does a great job of posting the highlights. That's my guy over there. I wanted to say he posted on Twitter that it was like one of his most watched videos of all time, which is saying something. But it also shows just the level of excitement that people have for Razorback basketball right now. An exhibition game against Kansas. Arkansas owns Kansas in basketball. I'm just saying. Arkansas owns Kansas in basketball. They don't want any problem with that. They don't want to talk about all that. Dalton says, I like the title. If Cal only wins the Hall of Fame tip-off, you could still say you were right. That's true. That's true. See what I did there? I bet you did. Totally. Kiss off the glass. I like that. Says, are we getting a bootleg stream of the game tonight? No, that would be illegal. That's not going to. I mean, come on now. What are we doing here? We're not doing any of those illegal things. Let's just be honest here. For viewer chats, we'll get to the phone lines. Let's see. You also have another thing for Kiss off the glass. Says Cal may not get us a title before retirement, but he will be in contention every year. That's about the best you can ask for. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like people think, oh, he has to win a title. He has to demand it, and if he doesn't win a title, it's bad. As long as you're in the running for it, that's where you feel in that moment. You can break either way. Like say for instance, that Arkansas becomes a 1 seed this year in the NCAA tournament, which would be awesome. Does that automatically mean that Arkansas is going to win the national championship? No. Does that mean they're going to be the favorites to win the national championship? Maybe, but probably not. But you're in the motion. You're in the conversation, I guess, would be what would be the biggest thing to take away from that. So I'm excited. I'm just excited to have basketball fun again, excited again. Like I love it, and that's what I want to see more of. Mike says we're going to be hard to beat this year. I'm expecting at least a Sweet 16. That's kind of what I'm feeling too, man. To be honest, that's what I'm feeling. Sweet 16. It's not going to be like, oh, Sweet 16 only, and I'm fine. But it's they get to a Sweet 16. Say if they lost in the Sweet 16, I'm not going to look at it as a failure of a season. It's more of good, solid season. Second weekend is everything. Because if Arkansas is a 1 seed and they get to the Sweet 16, man, it's going to be tough. Let's go to the phone lines. I believe this is Drake over in Searcy. What's up, Drake?
Hey, John. First, just want to say, always been a big fan of you. I've been following you for a while. Always feel like you've had the viewpoint of what most Arkansas fans have. We want greatness. We want to have fun. We just, we're here for a good time.
Thanks,
with Calipari,
man.
I think that definitely brings, yeah, of course. I think with Calipari, though, just going back to that stream you and Curtis did, it brought excitement to the fans. It brought excitement to the state of Arkansas. It got us pumped for another season when the last season had just ended. And especially after a rough season, it brought that excitement back. so excited for this season. Watched that Kansas exhibition game. Had to temper the expectations a little bit. Had tried not to get too excited, but it's hard not to. Immediately when I saw that Baylor game go up, bought tickets to that. Heading down there next weekend, so hopefully run into you and see you. But yeah, it's my expectations for Calipari. Got to make the tournament. We got to make that second weekend. I believe we can. I believe he can. I think he has that new, reinvigorated to do better and to do good. And I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And appreciate the phone call, Drake. Appreciate the kind words as well. Listen, he has an excitement level to him where he can be very humble. I'm talking about Cal. He can come off as very humble, and that's great, and I appreciate him doing that. But there's also a level of swagger, confidence. I mean, this dude was at what was it last night? He was at the Rockets game, and it's just so cool to see that from a coach. At least for me, it is. Seeing a guy that's everywhere, but also he has so much confidence in himself. Maybe this is what I'm trying to say. He has so much confidence in himself that he can go anywhere, do anything during the season, and it's not going to be considered a distraction or any sort of problem or anything like that. Like that's when you know you're big time. That's when you know you're that dude. Yeah, it's a Dallas Mavericks and Rockets game. Just casually getting pictures with all of his dudes. He took the entire team to the game. So, man, that's just good stuff from him. And I love seeing it too. Let's see. A few other people, like Mike says, I don't want to get overconfident. No, you never want to get overconfident, but you also don't. Here's the thing that's tough for Razorback fans because you have PTSD, and I understand it. It sucks, but you still want to live in the moment and be excited. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing wrong with that element. You still can be excited. You can still have fun with it. But you just don't want to get to the point to where you're blindly assuming that everything's going to go hunky-dory when we know that's not the case. We know that doesn't happen. I do want to bring up this comment, too, from Ingles. It says, what's your opinion on the letter Hunter sent out yesterday? Okay, so I assume you're talking about the concession fees and all that stuff. I assume that's what you're referring to. And I got to look over a little bit, but I brought it up again so we can kind of go through it together in case you guys aren't sure of what's being talked about. This was a letter that was emailed to the donors and said that there will be a fee added to the concessions, the 3% fee on all concession sales at home athletic events beginning this Saturday against Ole Miss. Said that it will help fund additional scholarships that are proposed in the House versus NCAA settlement, which is expected to be implemented next year, according to WholeHogSports.com. It says the 3% fee will be added to the concessions and other items. He did not specify what other items will be included in this part of the surcharge, but the Razorbacks' most recent NCAA member financial report listed a revenue grouping identified as program, novelty, parking, and concession sales, which totaled to be a little bit more than $3.1 million in the fiscal year of 2023. This is a small but meaningful way that fans can help provide the support of current and future Razorback athletes. Basically what it is that it seems that, hey, they're needing money for different things because of the revenue distribution that's about to come out. Like, they're going to need money. The athletic department's going to need money. And just spare me with all your comments and be like, hey, they have all this money from the SEC network. They got all this going on, blah, blah, blah. Folks, you don't understand how much money it costs to run 19 sports programs. Okay, it's not just about football. We're talking about 19 sports. Football pays for everything. Like, it's just a fact. And it's very expensive for travel, for equipment, for facilities. It costs money. So I'm okay with this, and I'm in favor of this. Because it's the $22 million in revenue that each program will share with the athletes in the first year of the settlement that's going to be coming out. So it believes, he said that Arkansas will undergo a comprehensive budget review to explore new sources of revenue as well as identify ways to operate more efficiently. It says the goal is to identify $15 million in total savings and increased revenue each year. Okay, so that's all well and good. But the Bud Walton thing is really what caught my eye. Because I am very, very protective of what Bud Walton is and what it's always been. So it's about this particular thing where Arkansas's basketball will undergo a comprehensive reset on all seating within Bud Walton Arena prior to 2025-2026 season, indicating a seating equity overhaul similar to the one at baseball's Baum-Walker Stadium. He says there has not been a comprehensive reallocation of seating within Bud Walton since it opened in 93. Details of the plan are being finalized and will be provided in January to allow fans to make informed decisions about their annual fund commitments. Yurchek also wrote the reseating plan will be based on the existing configuration of seating at the arena, not on proposed renovations. So, as long as that's true, I'm okay with it. As long as it's true that he is just going to be keeping it within the stratosphere of the seats and it has nothing to do with the renovations, I'm fine with that. I think one of the biggest things is about the student section moving. I know some people would want to not hear about it, but it's true. The student section location sucks. It sucks in Bud Walton Arena. It always has. That is the one downfall to that incredible state-of-the-art arena. The student section placement. No student section that's worth their salt, especially if you're a big-time basketball program, puts their student section in the corner of the arena that you can't see on TV, and that in the second half, the opposing team's going the other way. That's not beneficial to anybody. So I'm hoping that they actually put the student section somewhere else. And I'll be down if they want to put it across the court, straight away there where you can see it on TV. That would be awesome. Be fine with that. If they want to put it on behind each goal on either side, that'd be great too. I'd be fine with that. But they need to change that for sure. There's no question. The rest of it, though, to me, it's about getting the most money out of the tickets that are in the highest demand. For instance, Gucci Row, as I like to refer it as, is there such a high demand for those seats, and you can get them at top dollar, you want to increase those as much as possible. There's no offense, nobody is demanding to sit up in the nosebleeds for the cheapest seats. Like, those aren't the ones that are in demand. It's the suites that are in demand. It's the Gucci Row seats that are in demand. Closer to the court that are in demand. Lower deck that's in demand. All those are in demand. And so when you're going to have to look at all different ways of how this could be renovated, how this could work for the fans, how that could work for everybody else, then you're going to have to check it out yourself and see which seats that you want and how much you're wanting to pay and everything. I'm fine with all of that. But you just cannot change Bud Walton Arena. Do not change Bud Walton Arena. Do not change the seating arrangements. Don't change if you want to move suites around, if you want to move other things too, that's great. But I'm going to be pissed if they try to take out any seats that's going to keep it from being 19,200. It's loud, it's impressive, it's crazy. They need to keep it that way. That's what makes Bud Walton great. That's what makes the intimidation factor there incredible. I'm going to try and trust them. We'll see how it goes. I don't really know what to expect, but I'm going to try and trust them. Because it's Hunter Yurchek, man. Like we trust him, right? We trust him, right? I hope so. But he's doing it at the right time, though. I mean, you got Cal. And you got excitement. You got talent. You got the chicken man. You got it all. Just do not change Bud Walton Arena. I swear. I'm going to fight somebody if they end up doing something like that, too. Let's see. Okay, a few more people here in the chat, too. SCT says they're putting a hog pen in Bud Walton. I would die if they actually did that. I would be pissed if they actually did that. Let's see. Also, Heartbroken High says, Just got here. I had to double check the channel because I thought it was Locked On Razorbacks. I know that's what it kind of feels like, right? Kind of feels like that. But still, listen. If you want to make it to Locked On Razorbacks, we can go right into that and do a live stream on there too. But no, Curtis and Andrew are going to be joining us here soon. Don't worry. It's not going to be just me. No one wants that. Y'all don't want that. We got a Kentucky fan in here. That's great. Jordan says, can't wait for you guys to get the Cal experience. Nothing but letdowns and ignorant in-game decisions. Give it time. You will learn. Here's my thing. Is it really... Like the Cal experience was a national championship and multiple Final Fours. What does that mean? Can't wait for you guys to get the Cal experience? Yeah, I can't wait for that either. I can't wait to see Final Fours and national championship competition and all of that. Yeah. Can't wait for all that to happen. See, we got some other people coming in here in the chat. I love this from Unbiased Brain. He's like, short answer, yes. Yes to the title. He's like, yeah, Arkansas will bring the title. Yes, they will. All right, Seymour says, Bud Walton needs to be changed. Huge gaping aisles, converge in corners. Huge gap between seats and court. Ridiculous. Okay. Well, I don't think it's that bad. Like, we're talking about the aesthetics of it. If it's the aesthetics of it, you can't tell by that on TV. Because that's what it's about. It's about what it looks like on TV. Who cares what it looks like in person? The aesthetics are great. I think it's awesome. Bias Brim says, yeah, we're getting 2011, Cal. You watch. It's going to happen. Not doing the hog pen, and no, it's not going to happen. I love this just from BTC PAC. Says, broadcast the effing game. Who are you saying this to? Saying it to me? I'm not down there. I'm not going to broadcast it. I'm not about to get the SEC after me. You must be crazy. Come on now. Also, we got a few other people. Where's that Kentucky fan? He said something else. That was really funny to me. Oh, yeah, he's saying like Wilson is UK bound. I guess the blue circle means blue, like big blue. Okay. That's fine. Sweet. You guys are just getting transfer players that are like JUCO guys and whatnot right now. So let's just relax on all of that. Our Broken Hawk says, watch Cal have the best 5-year stretch of his coaching career and retire as the greatest coach in SEC history. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? I think so. All right, let's see. A few other chats here. Again, if you want in the conversation, folks, 478-344-6623 is going to be that number to call in if you want on that. Let's see. Pooh Bear says, I came straight in once I found out. Bias Brim says, postpone again. I think he goes to Kentucky. Let's see what happens with Caleb. Listen, here's the deal. I know that you want all the best players. 100%. But it's also not going to be where, you lose out this one player and that's it. Your season, you're not going to have a good year. Arkansas's going to have plenty of talent. It's about what they do with that talent. Because as of right now, Kentucky, they have talent, but I don't know if they have that much talent. That's the key. That's the deal. Okay, let's see. SCT says, price out the common fan. Oh, brother, we can't complain about being broke and complain about the university finding ways to make money. See, that's the thing, and that's a good point, SCT, even though you hate me, apparently. The university has to make money, and you don't have to pay it. And here's the thing, folks. If there's enough of you that are unwilling to pay it, guess what they're going to do? They're going to lower the costs because they're like, hey, we got to get these seats out. So they're only going to raise the prices of what people are willing to pay. And I know it sucks for the common fan. I get it, but it's business. You know, it's business. It's the way it is. You got to make money. And fans do help in that regard of making a lot of money. Thank you, SCT. He says, I do hate you, John. I'm only here for the ghost of Curtis and Andrew. Wow. Well, at least you're honest about it. Mike says, I find it humorous that UK fans keep coming on Arkansas fan boards, Closet Hog fans. It's pretty incredible. I mean, I'm not surprised by it because they are obsessed with Cal and obsessed with Arkansas and obsessed with their downfall. I don't know how good Kentucky's going to be overall this year. They might be fine. They might be a tournament team. But the idea that they're going to be better than Arkansas this year, no, that's absurd. That's just not going to happen. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. An Unbiased Brim, I believe, calling in. What's up, Unbiased Brim?
That's right. Man, the last thing you said was music to my ears, though. Man, you started this call off right. You said, the Kentucky going to hold our hat this year? Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel bad for the good Kentucky fans. Through this process, I have met some wonderful Kentucky fans, but I've met so many horrible ones. There's like, this Billy Gillispie 2.0 downfall is really, you deserve this. This is just for you. I can't wait.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm really hoping that happens again, because Mark Pope may end up being okay at Kentucky. I don't know. He may be all right. He may be good, but I think it's just the assumption, the just guaranteed confidence of, oh, we are better off with Mark Pope than John Calipari is ludicrous to me. Right now, there is no evidence of that. And what cracks me up, too, is these Kentucky fans will say, oh, yeah, have fun losing in the first round of the tournament. Blah. It's like, dude, Mark Pope hasn't even won a tournament game yet as a head coach. So, like, how do you know he's going to win an NCAA tournament game? Because he hasn't yet. So let's just relax.
AKA pipe down, Kentucky boys. AKA Big Blue Nation, calm down, Chuck. But the thing is, the reason why I look at them I ignored them for a very long time during this off-season period, but then I started chiming in, and as the season comes in, and especially if it starts looking like I anticipated looking, I'm going to peek and have a little bit of fun. But these guys are like, are they forgetting how they were screaming for Cal's head? But then as he walks away, they say, he tried to come back, make up lies, which I know your buddy works for KSR, but I feel like they were responsible for half of the brain-dead BBN Nation fans.
Oh, yeah, they are.
They're not the reasonable ones. They are partly responsible for that because they put out propaganda sometimes that don't be facts. And how they treated Pope at first when Pope was announced. A lot of them will tuck their tail about that. When Pope was initially going to be the person, oh, no. They wouldn't talk what they were talking about. They was like, they're horrible hire. Get rid of the AD. Mitch got to go, right? But, they got to rally behind their guy and do the best they can. I don't care about them. I care about this team. And what I see from this team here, I see some beautiful signs. Ain't nothing set in stone, but the defensive effort was the first thing I would look for. As a former coach of basketball, I want to see defensive effort because that means so much to me. Because you're not going to go far in regards to being a successful championship caliber team without a quality defense.
Yep.
And I saw the quality there.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, Unbiased, I agree with you, and I'm going to use Muss as an example in this. Like, Arkansas offensively was never great under Muss. We all know that. They were never a great three-point shooting team, and unless you're talking about Mason Jones and Isaiah Joe, because that was one of his players, but they never were this great offensive team, but what made them win and helped them win was their defensive prowess there in the NCAA tournament. And so you can have a great offense, and great offense is great, and I want a great offense. But give me, as far as winning and going far, defense is everything. And I'm with you. In that Kansas game, especially some of the individual defensive efforts by some of those guards, and they were hounding those dudes. And that's the type of play that is going to go far with you. But also, let's just be clear about it. There's going to be some games where the officials are going to start calling ticky-tack stuff, and it could end up costing you a little bit there too. But it's a price you're willing to pay. I love the defensive effort because it's effort. Rebounding is effort, defense is effort, and they are giving the effort.
You know what, John? When you just said that, when you said, they could get foul trouble, and I started thinking about how SEC referees are, you took me down about 1/4 of a notch because I just remember how often SEC games are decided by the whistle, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Free throw discrepancy, all that stuff.
50 foul calls in a game, like crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sad but true. Sad but true. But just hope it doesn't happen too often this year.
Yeah, but I think at the end of the day, the offensive talent, the amount of guys that can create their own shot is such a beautiful sign. The defensive effort is a wonderful sign. Some of the versatility, I expect to see some 3-guard lineups potentially starting. I wouldn't be surprised if we see, Boogie, DJ, and Nelly starting, in some of the games this year. And then have two, and then maybe go with Darryl and Big Z or Adu. But one thing I did see that I didn't like, and I don't want to bash no player. I don't want to do them, but I want to be fair and be honest.
Right.
Brazil was doing too much racing to the basket, not staying and killing that glass. Not getting on the offensive glass. He was doing a lot of runouts, and I was like, "No, get your butt down there and get the rebound. Stop trying to run out," because that's what led to some of those second chance points from Kansas getting them dunks. With some of those plays I saw, and I was like, "No, stay home. Stop trying to run and get that extra basket," because that's what caused issues where we didn't score. And I think you said that. I don't know if it was you or Curtis, but one of the things about the Ole Miss teams was, as hard as defenses that we played, and we were a horrible rebounding team, though, for the most part.
Yeah.
We didn't offensive rebound well at all, So I want to see that trend change as well to give us opportunities, which it was nice to see Coach Coleman speak about that, giving us more opportunities and second chance points, because I think that's a very important facet for this team as well. But I'm really looking forward to basketball season. I love football, but basketball is my expertise, and I'm going to be just dissecting and diving all into it and watching, see how these guys play. It sucks that we don't get a chance to see them tonight, Right. We'll get a chance to hear about it and know about what progress these guys have made, and hopefully some of the other guys get a chance to play too, because believe it or not, some of these guys, the unheralded guys that Cal brought in, are going to end up playing some roles on this team that's going to be significant at moments of time, Yeah. Attrition is a bug, and it's a long season, so we might need all of them.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you exactly. I'm biased. But hey, man, appreciate the phone call. Have a great weekend, all right?
You too, man. Listen, Hogs win tomorrow, man. Be calm, be cool, let the boys go out and play, have fun, and kick butt. That's all I want them to do. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, appreciate you, Unbiased. It's good to hear from you, man. Let's see. Let's keep it going here with, I believe it's Parker calling in from Jonesboro. What's up, Parker?
Sorry, man.
What's up, dude?
Do you think, I know y'all say some 9-3 teams are going to get in the college football playoff. Do you think Arkansas gets the nod if by somehow the grace of God they do win out these next 4 games? Do you think they get the nod to go into the playoff if they're the 9-3 team?
Man, here's what would have to happen for them to get that nod. They would need a lot of help from other people, from other teams. In fact, I saw somebody, I think his name is Blake on Twitter. He actually sent me this, but it said, scenario where Arkansas makes the SEC championship game against Texas A&M. It would be that A&M has to go undefeated the rest of the way, but then Georgia has to lose 2 of their next 3. LSU loses 2 of their next 3. Tennessee loses to Vanderbilt or Kentucky. Texas loses to Arkansas. Alabama loses to Auburn. Missouri loses to Arkansas. And Ole Miss loses to Arkansas. So there is a scenario in which they could go into the SEC championship game, but yeah, they would have to win out, but they would need a
very complicated scenario.
Yes, need a lot of help from other people.
That's all I was wondering. I was just wondering, with the way Arkansas football has been the last few years or whatever, if they get the gracious nod to if they were the 9-3 team. But that's all I got, I reckon. So
Okay.
anyway, y'all have a good one.
I appreciate it, Parker. Thanks for calling in, man. Yeah, it would take a lot of effort and a lot of help for them to get to that point. That's for sure. We're gonna go to Curtis and Andrew here in just a little bit too. I think we're gonna get him connected because I know you're all tired of hearing me talk. But I do have a really exciting announcement to make real quick here with Inside Arkansas. Remember, Wednesday now officially has a sponsor. I know it's Friday, but we are officially partnering with our friends over at Fayetteville Fly Co. You need to check out their website at fflyco.com. As it is a local apparel company, and they have some great stuff. I know a lot of fishermen, fly fishermen that are here in the state of Arkansas, a lot of outdoorsmen or outdoors women, but they have so much great stuff going on over there at their website of different types of apparel. They got hoodies, they got the mallard rope hats, which I've seen a lot of people wearing these days. They got mesh woods patch hats, they've got apple blossom arky hats, they got zip jackets. They got it all. Tees, stickers, sweatshirts, accessories, everything. And it's over with our friends at Fayetteville Fly Co. They'll be officially partnering with us every Wednesday for Remember Wednesday, and we really appreciate them. Again, we love helping out all businesses, whoever's willing to partner with us, but it really means a lot whenever we have local businesses that are partnering with us as well. And the best thing about it, that if those of you are out there that want to check out Fayetteville Fly Co. and get some of their apparel, especially as it's getting colder and we're getting into the hunting seasons and everything, you need to check it out by using that promo code HOGSBY20. Consistent, right? HOGSBY20, because you're going to get 20% off your purchase. That's right. Just go to fflyco.com, use code HOGSBY20, and you're going to get 20% off your purchase, no matter how much you buy. But we really appreciate them, and it's great stuff, great apparel. We're going to be rocking it ourselves. I'm not a fly fisherman. I know I really look like the outdoorsman and big person over here, but I can pull it off. I can pull off the apparel. I can't pull off the lifestyle, but I can pull off the apparel. But I know a lot of you actually pull off the lifestyle. So do it with Fayetteville Fly Co. And we appreciate their sponsorship here and partnership here at Inside Arkansas. So really excited about that. But all right, we're going to go ahead and give this the old college try. And I'm sure this is going to go really well. Curtis and Andrew look to be joining us live from Fort Worth there in whatever hotel that they're staying in. But guys, how we doing? How we feeling? How's everything going?
For the love of God, please tell me you can hear me.
I can hear you, actually.
Yeah, dude, it took so much IT work right here to make this possible. We checked in a good 15 minutes ago, and we got dialed in, we got ready, we got everything set up, and then couldn't hear anything when we first tried to enter in. But I think we finally, trial and error, we figured it out. I'm glad we didn't have to figure it out live on air too.
Yeah, that's the thing I was really wanting to avoid, that scenario. But it's good to see y'all. It's good to hear from y'all. And somebody was saying like, "Oh man, you've been doing this show for 40 minutes by yourself." It's like, well, I'm kind of used to talking to myself a lot. So luckily we got some calls and drowning, and nobody wants to hear me talk. So that's fine. That's totally fine. But glad you guys made it. How was the trip down though? Everything good? That front?
Yeah, I mean, it was an easy drive. We hit some traffic as we got into the city, which is fine, but it was interesting. I mean, the hotel, we've been going back and forth with them to see if we could check in early so we could do this. And, last night they were like, well, we're going to have to wait until the morning and see what our room availability looks like. We got here, there's like nobody here. But they let us check in early, and it was funny. It reminded me, John, of when we were in San Francisco and they were doing the rolling blackouts, because the lady at the front, she was like, okay, we do have a room ready for you, so that's good. However, what was that dude's name? Max?
Yeah, Max. Let us in our room.
Max is going to have to walk you up to your room and let you in because our key card system is down right now. So Max had to escort us to our room, but in exchange for our inconvenience, they are not charging us for parking. So that's a good thing.
They got a lot. There's like 9 cars outside in this parking lot. I mean, there was hundreds of open spaces, and they were like, well, we're doing you a solid by not charging you for parking. I'm like, dude, there's nobody out there. Like, I think we can make it work. I think you could have let us check in early too. It was all good, but we are here. We are queer. We're going to make it happen.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know if I co-sign on that one.
What? Nobody Family Stone?
No.
Well,
No.
this Christmas, watch The Family Stone. It's the best Christmas movie of all time.
I'm gonna have to watch that one for the context.
We're dialed in. I need a shower. I need a shower before we hit the game, but I'm excited.
Well,
we're gonna have a good time.
Fort Worth is buzzing.
Yeah, the buzz is clearly in the air. The buzz and the fog is in the air. People are excited about this.
Oh, that's good to know, because I know people are going to be excited about not being able to watch it and be totally fine with it too. So, but it's good to hear from you guys. I know we'll have some other segments again too. Here's the thing: is like I was talking basketball for the majority of this, and I know Curtis was punching air and probably yelling at this. If you guys were listening, he'd be like, "John knows nothing.
Totally
like, what are you talking about?"
Couldn't hear you, so
that's good. Good thing then. That's good, because it would have been you just being like, "Oh, who's this guy?" Than talking basketball, but that's fine. But still, we have a few things to dive into. I do want to get your thoughts, both of y'all, on what we've kind of been discussing as far as regular season and SEC tournament titles, because national titles we know is really difficult anyways, but so is that winning the SEC. So I'm curious, what do you guys think? What happens first? Because I think one of them happens. What happens first? Cal wins a regular season title in the SEC, or he wins a tournament title in the SEC?
Tournament title.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I feel pretty strongly about that, because and I know it's kind of a Kentucky thing too, to where they really take that seriously and they go take over Nashville or whatever for the SEC tournament. But he seems to really care about that, and I could see them caring maybe a little bit more than some other teams who are going to be down there and getting that done maybe a little bit quicker, because I do think some of these teams that win these regular season titles, like Alabama, kind of has some staying power there. Tennessee. I think it's also the long haul of a season of an 18-game schedule to win a regular season title, and then you just might have to win like 3 games or whatever to do the SEC tournament. Although I don't know what the format looks like now that they moved to 16 teams. I don't know if the double bye is still a thing or what that looks like. So
the real question is, do people want to win the SEC tournament? Like, is that like a thing that's on people? Because I don't know if Arkansas has ever done it in basketball, or they did it that one year.
One time, I think.
One time.
Win it. But yeah, like, is that something that would like really move the needle and excite the fan base if Arkansas won it? I'm sure in the moment we'd be like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I really genuinely, I'm asking seriously. I haven't looked at the recent history in terms of SEC tournament winners and how they fared in the actual NCAA tournament. Is there like a super dark correlation there? Have teams been struggling?
No, I think it's more of kind of maybe not the exact same when Dave Van Horn finally won the SEC title in 2001, whenever it was. It's more of like, yeah, it's been so long since you've done it. It's been 24 years. So it's just kind of nice to be like, all right, we got one. We accomplished something that we haven't done in a long time. I think that's more of what it would be. But I mean,
when's the last time Arkansas won the regular season in the SEC?
That's a good question.
1995.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. I would rather win the SEC regular season title. That means you have a hell of a team. But the tournament's probably easier to do. I think that might happen first, but sign me up for any of those SEC titles. I know people don't really care about that, but that was one thing that irritated me a little bit. And Arkansas's run under Muss was awesome. I mean, you got 3 second weekends, 2 Elite Eights, whatever. But then they were finishing like 10th in the SEC, 11th in the SEC. It's like, come on, man. Like represent your conference the right way.
Definitely. I would like for them to win any SEC. I mean, it just means more in the SEC. But I agree that like a tournament seems like something they would win in, more recently or more soon, I guess is the term I'm looking for. But I don't know. I could see them winning the SEC regular season title this season. I
mean, it would be great if they did, because I was even making the argument that if they win the regular season, at worst, you're a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. At absolute worst, if you won the SEC regular season.
The league could be a little bit like not down, but it's not like it's like top to bottom filled with tournament teams necessarily this year. But I still think, whoever's winning that league, you're winning 14 conference games. That's a lot of BPI, a lot of RPI, a lot of SOS, a lot of net. That'll do you good.
They've added some metrics. Did you see that they've added some metrics to the evaluation sheets for the tournament? It's like Torvik is on there now, which I've talked to John about before. He's like, I don't know what that means, but sure. Wins above bubble is a thing now that they evaluate.
Wob?
So it's pretty cool. But John, have you talked about Caleb Wilson yet?
I was just about to throw it to you and be like, hey, do you have an update? Because people are chomping at the bit in the chat trying to figure out. I'm like, I am not even going to attempt to try and answer the question. I'm going to wait till Curtis comes on. So Curtis, Caleb Wilson.
I've been waiting to speak on this. It was weird when he announced his visit to Arkansas this weekend earlier in the week for this very reason, because we knew that these visits almost exclusively are Friday through Sunday, and Arkansas was going to be here in Fort Worth for this game. And so when I recorded on it, that was kind of the thing I said is, one, I guess it would have to start Saturday, which is weird because Arkansas will be getting back so late Friday night, and the football game is early, and like you want them there for the football game. So how would you work out the logistics to get him, on campus early Saturday morning to start a visit? It seemed weird to me. One, two, welcome to the Caleb Wilson experience. I mean, this is just the way it is with this kid. He no-showed Alabama late or canceled a visit on them very late, like at the time he was supposed to arrive or whatever. That's just kind of something that he's done. He's had a bunch of scheduled visits that he's postponed and rescheduled. He's had others that have come out of nowhere. Arkansas thought he was going to be here maybe last weekend, and he just randomly appears at Ohio State. It's one of those recruitments. Now, he's really, really good. Don't get me wrong. But it's just weird to me that, I know his dad said, oh, yeah, we realized that they're going to be playing TCU and we're going to reschedule and Cal will get his visit. They knew that. I mean, they knew that they were going to be playing a game. So I don't know if the logistics didn't work out or what, but it's always a caveat with him of, great if you hear that he's going to take a visit, you feel good about it. If you hear it come directly from him, which it did, he's the one that tweeted out, hey, I'm going to Arkansas this weekend, but you really believe it when you see it. Like when he gets on campus, you're like, okay. And if and when that happens, game on for Arkansas, because they're going to be able to compete in the NIL space. I know that there's a weird deal or whatever between John Calipari and Clutch, who I think represents Caleb Wilson, but you get him on campus, you got as good of a shot as anybody. But the thing is just getting him here, man, because he's kind of flaky on the visit front for sure. So no, not going to be in this weekend. Am I surprised by that? No. Do I think that just automatically rules Arkansas out? No, I don't think that either.
Well, okay, because I was hearing everybody in the chat and I saw all the stuff and I was like, whatever it is, people are not happy about it. But I mean, whatever. To me, it's like Razorback fans are going to be, if he comes here, he's the greatest player ever. But if he goes somewhere, we didn't want him anyways. He's trouble.
I also love that Hog fans hate all the agencies or the agents that are like do the big name players. Where I'm like, what's the agency that's built on like ethics? That's like, no, we don't want the best for our players. We really care about the teams that our players go to. So yeah, like him being a Clutch guy like means nothing to me, honestly.
Right. The visit thing, and it is kind of a pattern with him. So it's kind of a red flag to me.
Yeah.
And I do not know the kid. I've never talked to him. Have no idea about his family situation, his characters, so nothing like that. But just when you see visits get moved around, it's kind of flaky and all over the place and difficult to follow from a recruiting standpoint. A lot of times that can be a red flag. So we'll see. He's a top five player in the country. I think one of the reasons why people are upset about the late cancellation is we were taking a little bit of a victory lap because the dude goes and visits Kentucky and they're getting, they're trending. They're starting to get some of those crystal ball projections or whatever. And then as soon as that happens, it's like, oh, by the way, I'm going to go visit Arkansas this weekend. So everybody in Arkansas is like, suck it, BBN. There you go. And you can still feel that way if he winds up coming on the visit. But here's the thing. If he doesn't and you don't get him, then you're probably in a really good spot to get Chris Sinak, who is another top 10 5-star forward in this class. Either way, you're going to be just fine.
It's also crazy that like Arkansas, this is the echelon of kid that they're going to be recruiting for the foreseeable future, where like it used to be few and far between. Every now and then you'd hear one of these guys that was so highly regarded, because it's not the high 3-stars that are doing this, that are doing the weird visit stuff. It's always the high level basketball players, which these are the types of personalities, the types of recruitments that Arkansas is going to be right in the mix of. But it does just really highlight that basketball players in particular are a fickle one. They're a fickle bunch to try and get any type of real information out of, and so I do not envy the basketball recruiting gurus like yourself.
Well, it does make me laugh because if people who are upset by this or upset how he handles it, here's the thing. If he ends up coming to Arkansas and he ends up being a great player, nobody's going to be like, yeah, he's a great player, but that way he handled that recruiting. He canceled that visit that one time, even though he ended up coming here. I don't like him for that. Like, no, you're not going to care. He's your player. You don't care how the recruiting process went. I mean, for crying out loud, Alex Collins' mom stole his recruiting papers. I don't think anybody was like, oh, well, I love Alex Collins, rest in peace. I love Alex Collins. He was a great player, but I didn't like the fact that his mom didn't want him here. It's like, who cares? He was a great player.
I would almost argue that if you have a sketchy family member connected to you, that's almost a good sign for your career, because those are usually the players. Kawhi Leonard's got a weird uncle, and that's worked out pretty well for him. A lot of the athletes that have the weird parent that's like going rogue, typically they're like a really talented player and it works out. So it's,
unless it's Baby Gronk.
If he doesn't come, he's Mikey Williams.
And and Baby Gronk needs to pipe down a little bit. He's challenging the wrong people out there right now.
About to get his ass whipped by the Rizzler.
That's right.
Doesn't chill out.
I don't even know what that means, but I'm gonna trust you.
Don't worry about it. You know what the Rizzler is. Don't try to. You know who Baby Gronk and the Rizzler are. Don't try to play.
I know who Baby. I honestly do not know who the Rizzler is. I know Baby Gronk.
Full of the purest form of dog poop. Talking about you don't know who the Rizzler is. Yes, you do.
Why would I say I don't know him if I knew him? Like, I don't know who the Rizzler is. I'll have to look him up. Hopefully, he's got a Wikipedia page.
We'll get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, we'll check it out. We'll check it out here in a bit.
The other night.
Oh well, there. I don't watch Jimmy Fallon, but yeah.
Neither do I. But the we bring the boom. You know those guys?
Oh yeah. Okay, the family.
Yeah, and he's the little fat kid that hangs out with them.
Oh, okay. See, now I do. I just didn't know that his name was the Rizzler. Yeah. I thought his name was just Chubby Kid or something.
No,
anyways,
they went a different direction.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Because when I see him, I don't see the Rizzler. I see a chubby kid. So let's go ahead and get into your Alumni Hall question of the day. Sponsored by Alumni Hall. Best place to get to all of your Razorback apparel. No question about it. You can shop them online at alumnihall.com/Arkansas-Razorbacks. You can also check them out in their store locally here in Fayetteville at 3417 North College Avenue. It's the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. It's Alumni Hall. And, we've been talking a lot of basketball, but looking at the football side of things, Arkansas, Ole Miss tomorrow. I asked the people, I asked the folks of how is this game going to go with Arkansas and Ole Miss? What is going to be the result of this game? And I gave 4 choices, so you had a multiple choice answer to this. It's Hogs win close, Hogs win big, or Ole Miss wins close, Ole Miss wins big. So 45% of you say Hogs win close. 33.5% of you say Ole Miss wins close. 15% says Ole Miss wins big. And then 6% say Hogs win big. Seems fair. Or not fair, because I think Arkansas is going to lose, but seems reasonable, expected from Arkansas fans right now.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, kudos to Arkansas fans for not overly sipping the Kool-Aid after a Mississippi State, win like they had. Yeah, a little measured there. Confidence in your team. Think it's going to be a close game.
So over 70% say it's going to be a close game, right? Now,
yes.
Were we inside Arkansas as a company? Were we unanimously on the Ole Miss side for this?
Yep.
Interesting. Sure. So fans that think we're haters, y'all are gonna have some fuel if Arkansas wins this game tomorrow.
Yeah. Hey, and the simulation said it too. Simulation last night at the Leroy. Yeah. It was a bonkers game at the end, but also had Arkansas losing.
Didn't have Arkansas covering 41-33. Just quite missed the spread, which tells you how dialed in Vegas is. That even the simulation they nailed it. If I were picking between those two options, Mr. Neighbors, I would say Arkansas loses a close game. I think 24-20 was my score prediction. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a little bit of a slugfest defensively. The over/under is 55.5. I feel like that's a little high, especially just how good Ole Miss is defensively. Might have a little weather. I know it'll be like 72 degrees, but a little nip in the air. I think that might help things out. But I think it's going to be a little bit of a slugfest, a little ugly. And I don't know, man. I can't quite talk myself into Arkansas winning this game.
I can't either. And I even was talking to a few folks down on Dixon Street at the Halloween party last night. But I even said I made my prediction of it being, I think, 21-13, as it was the final score for Arkansas Ole Miss, something like that. But I'm like, I could see this going like an LSU type of thing where Ole Miss wins 35-10. I could absolutely see that happening, which I don't want it to. I hope it doesn't. But Ole Miss's defense is really good, and they get after the quarterback. And if they have a lot of pressure on Taylon Green, and he's getting sacked a lot, it's over, boys. It's curtains. It's going to be a long day. So I just don't feel good about it.
I think that's kind of where I'm at, John. I don't think it's going to get to that point on the final score as it did with LSU, but I'm kind of feeling like maybe an Ole Miss by 2 scores here. I don't know, man. We talked about it. It's like every week, the further along we get, the closer we get to the game, the more optimistic we feel. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, it's been the exact opposite for me this week. And it's just based on nothing really. I don't know, just like a feeling in my gut where I'm like, I don't know, man.
Ole Miss has kind of, I mean, I wouldn't even say kind of. They've underachieved this year. Like if you just go by preseason and kind of what we expected Ole Miss to be, I didn't think they would have 2 losses at this point. I definitely didn't think they were going to lose to Kentucky. They really haven't put together a complete game. They haven't scored 30 points in SEC play. So like it's not like there's no case to be made for Arkansas in this game, especially at home. And, you know, with the way that Ole Miss has kind of been sleepwalking through the season a little bit, there's a case to be made. I just feel like there's going to be a point where Ole Miss puts it together a little bit. I just feel like they've underachieved a little bit, and Arkansas, to be fair, has overachieved a little bit. And so it kind of leads me to believe there's going to be a correction of course a little bit. And Arkansas built a lot of offensive momentum against Mississippi State last week, scoring 58 points. That's awesome. I think it's going to be a lot harder to get yards, a lot harder to get points in this game. And for me, I just can't see Arkansas running the ball against Ole Miss. I would love to be proven wrong. We were looking at it the other day, and like their season high, the most they had allowed all year was like 150 on like 52 carries or something like that. So like even the teams that technically had some success on the ground against them really had to grind it out. And Arkansas obviously won't have their best back. It's not that I like think there's a huge drop off in the running back room, but I think it's going to need a heroic Taylor Green performance to kind of set the tone for Arkansas offensively. And he's fully capable of doing that. But I also just feel like if it turns in, we always say this, if it turns into a shootout, I don't feel good about Arkansas's chances. And so I think if this Ole Miss offense starts to put it together again, they haven't scored 30 in SEC play. If they do that in this game, I just don't see Arkansas being able to consistently string drives together against that defense.
They also haven't played Mississippi State in SEC play. That seems to be the only team that SEC teams are scoring 30 on.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
Well, you remember early in the year, we were talking about how all the SEC games were low scoring. It was like a weird pandemic going on where nobody was scoring. But then you look at it and you're like, oh, well, Florida scored 45 against Mississippi State. Oh, Arkansas scored 50. Everybody that's against Mississippi State. They are the common denominator, a little bit of the odd man out. But I think this game, like I said, is going to be a little bit more close to what we saw early in SEC play, that 23-17 type of thing here.
You know what I didn't realize until I was doing a little bit more digging, I guess, in the last couple of days, but we talk a lot about teams not being able to run on Ole Miss. And it's interesting that Ole Miss has not been able to run on other teams. Especially in SEC play. Comparatively speaking to what they've done under Lane Kiffin in the past, they are not doing that at all. I guess it was last week against Oklahoma, like their running backs, so not accounting for what Jackson Dart does, combined for like less than 50 yards rushing. And that's the first time that's happened since I don't know, it's been a while, I guess you could say. I didn't realize that they were having those kind of struggles getting things going on the ground, and I wonder if you got a combination of that and then your guy, Trey Harris, who's been banged up, maybe that kind of speaks to some of Jackson Dart's struggles since they got an SEC play where he was so good. I know they weren't really playing anybody, but it's been a pretty sharp downturn in touchdown passes and yardage per game through the air for him. Probably a combination. If you can't run the damn ball and then you're without your number one receiver, we'll see if he plays this weekend. That would probably change things for him quite a bit.
Okay, let's go ahead and get into also our Arkansas update presented by Davis & Garrett Insurance, your independent auto owners insurance agency, securing what matters the most. So see my boy Clayton over there. You'll be able to get hooked up with all of your insurance needs and a few things. Some of it we've already mentioned, but again, Arkansas and TCU tonight in Fort Worth at Dickies Arena. Curtis and Andrew are going to be there. Look for them on TV. Oh, whoops. They're not going to be on TV. So, because the game's not on TV. That's why. But either way, that game's going to be tonight at 7 p.m., so should be great. It's also a charity game where the Horned Frogs will support Cook Children's Health Foundation, and the Razorbacks' charity of choice is the Arkansas Children's Foundation. So for the kids, is what's going to be back. But yeah, you can be able to listen to it on the radio, though. And according to the release, it says Chuck Barrett and Coach Z, are both of them going to be doing the game tonight and then just quick turnaround for an early morning tomorrow for the football game?
Yeah, I do think so.
Wow. Okay. Shout out to them.
I have it on good authority. I heard from a good source that Chuck did not appreciate Coach Z tearing up the town last night and banging into his hotel room at about 3 a.m.
That's right. Causing a ruckus over there. He's a party animal. He's a wild man.
I did see his Instagram stories this morning when I woke up, and I was like, yep.
I love that.
And I was like, that he had a good time. He had a very good time. I know that. Did y'all see his costume, Coach Z's, at the foundation? By chance, you can check out his Instagram story and see his costume. It's absurd. He's I don't think it's it's not the Mad Hatter from Batman, but it's what's the character from Alice in Wonderland it's based on?
That is the Mad Hatter, yes. Not from Batman, but it's the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland.
So his name's the Mad Hatter.
Johnny Depp played him, yeah.
Okay. I thought his name was something, and it doesn't matter. Him. That's who he played. So pretty good stuff there from Coach Z. Also, we talked about from the desk of Hunter Yurchek, which is always a great email you want to get, talking about some of the institutional revenue share that's coming up, the roster limits and scholarships, NIL back damages, comprehensive budget reviews, corporate logos on playing services, blah, 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 blah. So just go and read it for yourself because it is Bowersville. I'm balls deep in boredom just reading that. So check that out as well. And also shout out to Jonas Adu, who was one of 20 players on the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Center of the Year preseason watch list. So it's watch list season.
I just wanted to be one of 9 players to take the floor for Arkansas.
For real.
It's cool that he made the trip, though. And I don't know how Cal operates, so maybe we don't read too much into that. But in the past, like Muss would just leave guys at home and make them work with the training staff and everything. Especially if they were like progressing towards a return, which Chin Coleman said that's kind of where he's at. Like he had a big workout on Wednesday or Tuesday, whenever it was. And so maybe he at least gets out there and they put him through a workout early. Me and Andrew can have eyes on him, scope it out, let you guys know what we see. But I mean, it'd be really cool if he played, but I'm not really expecting that.
We will be tapped in on his workout, his little pregame workout when he's busting the GAs. That's what we're going to be keeping an eye on to see how close he is ready to game action. But ultimately, I'm not going to lose too much sleep over Jonas Adu. I mean, he's like John said, he's a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar award watch list guy. So, I mean, that tells you all you need to know.
The dude from Indiana State that plays for St. Louis now, he followed his coach over there. They call him Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah. Is he on the list?
He better be.
I mean, he's got to be on the list, right?
If he's
What's
not,
that dude's name? He's got the mustache. What's his name?
Robbie Avila.
Yeah. Here you go.
Yeah.
Cream.
I'll send you some highlights, John. Yeah, it's electric.
Yeah, he's really good.
I'm glad he is with that name or that nickname, I should say.
They also call him Milk Chamberlain, which is a good one too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's white in case you didn't catch that.
Yeah, I think we gathered. It's like he's like the white Steve Nash. I forgot who said that one time on a broadcast. It was like, oh, okay,
opposed to the Canadian Steve Nash.
Yeah. And then was it Bill Rafferty? And he called somebody the White Lobster. Do you remember that?
Interesting.
Yeah, because it was Bill Rafferty. Always saying crazy things, but he's like the White Lobster, onions, Vern Lundquist.
I respect it.
Yeah, I don't know what it meant, but yeah, just white things with white players. It's like funny white guys doing things. Let's give them a nickname. Let's call them Wonder Bread. It's like, all right, cool. Also, we can jump into a little bit of the preview of the college football weekend here, sponsored by Bet Saracen. Check out Bet Saracen, the #1 sports betting app here in the state of Arkansas. It's not even close, so you got to check it out today. We did our game-by-game predictions from the SEC on InsideArkansas.com, and we're not going to tell you them now because you just got to go and read it, you jerks. But we will look ahead as some of the other games going on in college football. How about the big dog, the big one, the Penn State-Ohio State matchup at 11 a.m. on Fox? Number 4 versus number 3. Yep.
Number 4, number 3.
Yep.
That'll do.
Top 5 teams, both not both undefeated. Penn State's undefeated. Ohio State does have 1 loss on the year. This is happening in Happy Valley, and Ohio State's favored by 3 points, according to Saracen. So I feel like I'm going to go with Ohio State because Penn State, James Franklin's a good coach. Every single time they're in that time, that game that can really push them over the edge, they always fall short.
Yes.
So
yeah, you're right. They always do. And also their quarterback, Drew Allers, he's been hurt and banged up and questionable. And now they're saying they think he's going to play, but is it going to be like a 60% version of that dude? So yeah, I'm probably going Ohio State there.
I've been kind of underwhelmed by Penn State all year. And I had USC to beat them in that game whenever they had to go all the way when they, were complaining about the travel and all that. And even though they came back and won that game, I was still unimpressed with them. And so I do think this is going to be it just makes too much sense. Although I will say, Ohio State, preseason was the team that everyone was like, oh, this roster, NFL guys all over the place. Little soft in the trenches for my liking. If I'm picking a playoff team that's going to win the national title, their O-line looks like a Cody Kennedy O-line. Doesn't look like an Ohio State O-line.
Whoa.
And I'm just saying, and not the Tulane in 2021 Arkansas Cody Kennedy offensive line. I'm talking about Mississippi State offensive line.
Rough stuff.
Will Howard's pretty solid. He had a good little run at Kansas State, but it's like typically Ohio State brings in whatever transfer they want, or they have a 5-star Quinn Ewers, CJ Stroud type of guy. I feel like Will Howard might be the worst quarterback that Ohio State's had in like a good 20 years.
Oh, after that debacle at Oregon, I'm forever off the Will Howard train. That was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life, him doing that. So
what's the point of being a 9th-year senior if you don't know not to do that?
If you're dumb, what's the point of being a 9th-year senior if you're dumb, doing dumb things? Not really, man. There's not a lot of other great games, but I will say you got a kind of, I don't want to call it a sneaky one, but Miami Duke. Duke's actually 6-2 on the year. Miami's still undefeated, number 5 in the country, but Miami's favored by 21 points in this game. So
it's at Miami.
Yeah.
What do we think about Burt being a 3-point dog at home against Minnesota and PJ?
It's weird.
Fleck? That's a little like
it's weird.
Sketchy. I feel like when a ranked team is at home and an underdog against an unranked team, that tells you that something fishy's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And Minnesota, they're scrappy with PJ Fleck, and he's actually doing a pretty good job this year. I might just stay away from that game altogether.
Is there a more, as far as coaches and teams go, a more Big Ten than Minnesota, Illinois, Brett Bielema, PJ Fleck? Like that to me is everything bad about the Big Ten.
If it were a triple threat with Purdue, you'd have me. That'd be like the ultimate, and if it were at 11 a.m. with Beth Mowins on the call.
Ooh, man. Yeah. Here's what's crazy, too. You can get into this game for, according to Ticketmaster, you can get into the game for $6. How is that possible? This is a decent game.
That's how it was with Mississippi State last week. There were like $6 tickets available.
Yeah, but at least like both these teams seem to be decent. It's in Champaign, so the Illinois fans got to show up. So
it might be worth a Duke cover in that Miami game. Like Miami, they're low key probably going to be that team. We've talked about this, Andrew, where they just wind up undefeated at the end of the year, but they're really not that good, and they get just smacked in the first round of the college football playoff. Like they've really flirted with fire a couple times. They almost lost at Cal, which they're better than I guess they have been in the past, but I don't care. It's still Cal. And then they should have lost to Virginia Tech. Like they're vulnerable.
They're going to slip on the banana peel at least once this year. I don't necessarily think it's this week, but 21 points is a lot of points for a team that really doesn't blow out anybody. Yeah. But their offense is awesome, and Cam Ward is the man. And so it's like I always feel like Cam Ward is just not the quarterback you want to have money against. Anytime you're like staring him down and he's in charge of possibly taking your money, he usually does it. And so I think I've sworn off betting against them, but this is a spot where I probably would do it.
What a game that was probably really good on paper before the season started, but it's not right now, is Oregon and Michigan. This is the game on 2:30 on CBS. The game's in the Big House, but Oregon's favored by 14.5, according to Bet Saracen. So Oregon's pretty good. Number 1 in the country. Big O.
Yeah, they get their stride. Remember the first couple weeks of the season when they were just messing around, barely got past Boise State, who's pretty good, and then I was like Idaho, something weird.
It's Idaho.
They were down against Idaho. Idaho ran that weird thing against them week 1. Yeah,
we were like, I don't know, man. Maybe they're a little overrated. Maybe this isn't going to work out. No, they're pretty good.
Dude, this is the remaining schedule: Michigan, Maryland, Wisconsin, and Washington. Like they're going to be the number 1 team in the country. For the rest of the regular season, at least.
Probably so.
And if the season was to end today in the Big Ten, they would be facing against the Indiana Hoosiers in the Big Ten title game.
They don't want those problems. I'll tell you that right now.
Indiana's got a sneaky game. They're on the road at Michigan State, and I think they're like a touchdown favorite. But it's like one of those where it'd be kind of funny if they won all these games leading up to it and then just like dropped one
and also to throw this in there, guys, I'm sure there's a way, but Penn State's undefeated too. Well, Penn State and Indiana don't play each other, and Penn State and Oregon don't play each other, and Indiana and Oregon don't play each other. So if they all 3 go undefeated,
then it doesn't even matter who's in the Big Ten title games. Like they'll all 3 go.
Yeah, just all 3 of them be.
Especially when Arkansas beats up on Ole Miss, that'll eliminate them from the contention. Then Ole Miss will beat Georgia, throw them off. It'll just it's gonna all play out in the Big Ten's favor.
Yeah. It can be chaos, but that would be fun. I would enjoy that. I hope Indiana wins it all. I don't think they will, but I hope they do. Other games of note, the other top 25 matchup that I can't believe we haven't talked about yet is the big one, 7 p.m. on the ACC network. Pittsburgh versus SMU. That's a top 25 matchup.
We drove through SMU.
Pittsburgh's undefeated season's coming to an end, boys.
You told me that. You told me that when we were at Leroy last week, and Syracuse did not live up to the challenge. But no,
I had my weeks mixed up.
Pitt. Everyone talks about Indiana being like the shaky undefeated team. Pitt's the worst undefeated team, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, has to be because they're.
Who is it, like Army? Are they undefeated still, or Navy? Whichever one didn't get their ass beat by.
I think it's
Army. Did not get their
Okay.
ass beat.
So, yeah.
Yeah, because right now Pittsburgh's best win on the season is against. Oh, is that true? I'm looking through it right now.
West Virginia.
Yeah, their best. Dude, that's terrible. How do you get this schedule? Their best win is against Syracuse. That's their best win of the season.
Well, and to be fair, they did beat them up pretty good. But yeah, that is a tough one.
No. Everybody else gets easy schedules, I tell you. But SMU's favored by 7 in this one, by the way, for those of you who are looking into the betting
SMU
minds.
Some good football.
Yeah, we dropped by campus. We were trying to find a couple guys. We're going to talk to Rhett Lashley and get his ideas, his thoughts on the Arkansas job in the future. We were going to go thank Andy Enfield for being that domino to fall in the basketball landscape that led to Eric Musselman getting the hell out and John Calipari getting in. We couldn't find any of those guys.
What about Ben Hicks?
Who?
Ben Hicks.
Oh,
he's definitely roaming around.
He's got a statue over there.
Ben Hicks and Chad Morris, the greatest turnaround in college football history, going from 1-11 to 7-5 in 3 years. Can't listen. That's
hey, shout out to Cortland Sutton, who had Ben Hicks as his college quarterback, and now he's in the NFL, and he's got like just a rotating cast of like Bo Nix and Brett Ripon as his quarterbacks. It sucks to be Cortland Sutton, to be a really good receiver, just having his entire career, college and pro, wasted.
It really does. It really does. By the way, another game I wanted to point out real quick. I forgot. It's the Holy War. BYU Utah is next week, and sorry, not this week. I'm sorry. I meant to say for this next week, because BYU is also an undefeated team. I forgot about that. So they're number 9 in the country.
SMU's only loss, right? And I remember in the moment it was like 13-12 or something like that, and I was like, dude, SMU sucks, man. This is horrible. But then they benched that quarterback, and they haven't lost since. And BYU's been just taking names and whipping ass ever since.
That's right.
Yep, and getting it done. So
I've got a hot take.
What's up?
I'm gonna throw it out there. You guys aren't going to like it, but I'm going to throw it out there. I like Auburn to win and cover against Vandy.
I do think they're going to beat Vandy, but it's now up to 8, that spread.
Why do y'all think that, though?
It's since 6.5. I hadn't seen it move.
Yeah, no, it's been moving. But that's another one where it's like the spread is so sketchy that you just feel like something weird's going on. Like it just doesn't make any sense based on the entire season that we've seen both those teams play.
Pavia's not 100%.
Plus they did just play Texas, and I feel like there's a little bit of a hangover when you play a team that good and that physical. Maybe you might be onto something. It's at Auburn, right?
At some point, it's at Auburn. Yeah.
They
finally won a game.
But and you know who I think is also going to win a game this week, and a team that hasn't been winning much. Arkansas knows this team very well. The Oklahoma State Cowboys at home against Jordan Crook and the Arizona State Sun Devils. They are 4-point underdogs at home. That's where Oklahoma State's season has gone. They started the year in the top 20 and were favored by 8 against Arkansas and somehow beat Arkansas. And now they're 4-point underdogs at home against Arizona State.
Could you imagine like how different? I mean, it's not like if they had beaten Oklahoma State and that's it. Like how different people would feel right now if Arkansas was sitting at 6-2.
It would have been neat.
Yeah. I would suggest that they should have done it.
Yeah,
we got crucified for saying Arkansas should have won that game. People were like, whoa, you can't expect to beat a well-rounded program with Mike Gundy at the helm.
That's right.
They're gonna finish 4-8. Literally. They're 3-5 right now, and they're underdogs this weekend.
I remember specific people. I won't name names. I remember some specific people being like, this is a team that's going to be in the college football playoff at the end of the year. Talking about Oklahoma State.
I remember Oklahoma State fans getting mad at us because we were like, we did the whole thing of like, Oklahoma State doesn't get any credit. Arkansas blew this one, and they were like, no. This is a great team. I mean, that Alan Bowman, I'm telling you.
Well, Ollie Gordon has 568 yards on this season. So
Jaquinton Jackson's got that, and he's missed like half the year.
Yeah, it's crazy. We were talking about on the way up here. How the hell is Jaquinton Jackson still top 5 in the SEC in rushing?
Dude.
He had some big games early, man, because he's been banged up. I can't remember last time I saw him.
Or we saw him make plays because that was crazy in the beginning. He was making plays right and left. And I mean, I still think he's capable. It's not like all of a sudden he's trash, but he's been hurt. And that was my fear. I talked about it like before the season started. he's such a physical back. It's like, that's great, but longevity is the key. And I feel like some of those contacts that he's taken come back to bite him. So hopefully.
Y'all got any more of them UAB defenses for me to focus on real quick?
Yeah, seriously. Let's see. All right, a few chats here real quick too. Samuel says, for Inside Arkansas Live guys, will we be ranked next week if we win this game? I assume you're talking about Ole Miss.
Because Ole Miss is 19. They'll just drop out.
Yeah.
3 losses.
6-3, 4-2. Is that what it would be? 6.
They would be close. They would be very close.
Yeah.
It would be like 23, 24, 25 if they were ranked.
Yeah,
But
maybe, but probably not. Yeah.
Right now, the Arkansas is receiving 4 votes, which would put them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 32 is what they're ranked. So
yeah,
if they did that and then more teams lost in front of them, like if Illinois lost to Minnesota because Illinois is 24th.
I will say, this is the
happen.
first week of the college football playoff rankings on Tuesday. So it could be completely.
That's true.
We have no real concept of what the rankings will look like on Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, maybe.
I mean, if you are, it'll be nice. It's just going to be funny, too, since Arkansas has a bye week, what if they're 25th, like this week, and then the bye week happens and they get taken out because they didn't play?
Good stuff.
No,
I think there's a better chance the opposite would happen, where they would be like 27, and then they would not play anybody, and they'd move up to 25.
Yep, just to make that Texas-Arkansas game a top 25 matchup. Yeah, that'd be the goods.
Build that resume for the Longhorns. That's what they need.
Yes, absolutely. A few other things too. Finch is over here saying, I think Inside Arkansas guys should be a stop for every recruiting visit.
I agree.
Yeah.
Same.
I agree. Yeah, bring them in. We need to be vetting these guys anyway.
Yeah.
Honestly. So
that's a good call. Cal needs to be coming to us.
We'll run that by the man.
Yeah. See if that can happen. Also, Mike teed up says, hey, boys, y'all are in my city of Dallas, technically Fort Worth, but still. Says, if you need to know the best spots, let me know. So, all right, Mike teed up.
Yeah, we're only going to be here for like 12 more hours, but we're happy to be here while we are.
Yeah, how far are y'all from the arena?
We don't know, actually. I mean, not that far.
What's that? Oh, like a half mile. It's like a 10-minute walk. Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
So bear with us, all right, for immediately following the game. We got to get back here.
No, it's unacceptable.
And we're going to the game tonight, so it's like it's not even like really we were going to be in. We got to work on our post game. So this is a business trip.
That's right.
I'm here to goof around.
Yeah,
we're not lollygagging over here.
Making out operation.
Yeah, standing on business down there.
That's right.
And running away. Nick says, appreciate the super chat. Says, John or Andrew, do one of y'all want to go to the Mark Norman show tonight? I got ghosted a few hours ago.
Why didn't you invite Curtis? What the hell? What was going on?
What does that mean?
That's crazy. That's nuts, man.
And who's okay?
Hey, well,
should I know? Well, after that comment that Andrew said when he first joined, I mean, come on.
Mark Norman must be must play for the other team or play for our team, I guess.
So who is Mark? He's a stand-up comedian. Okay.
Yeah, Mark Norman's funny.
Oh,
yeah, I think I've seen him a few times. Yeah, or not like I think I've seen him in concert or his show, I guess would be the right way to put it. But
if I was in town and knew that was a thing, I would go to that for sure. Dude's
Nick,
funny.
I regret to inform you that I must respectfully decline. I have things to attend to that prior engagements, but I do appreciate the invite and I love the fact that you gave us a super chat to invite us to something that was really nice. So
just to get it declined too, that's tough.
yeah. Sorry about that. But yeah, we appreciate it regardless. And also, David says, poll question: does John have a beard or no?
Yeah, I'd say
he's a beard.
He's got a beard. Yeah.
What else would it be? Like, is it because it's just short?
Maybe it's a neared.
You getting you getting makeup allegations again?
Always. I mean, it's a nonstop thing. I've been dealing with it for 5 years at this point.
I think they're questioning if it's a neared just because you keep it. It's not unkempt like some beards can be.
It just gets too itchy, and I hate that. Plus, I don't know. I got the gray coming in a little bit on the beard, and the longer it is, the more you see it. So, don't want to be that guy. But of course, like, people will be. I guess that's another thing too about the whole makeup allegations and all that stuff, folks. I don't even color my beard. Don't you think I would probably, color my beard if I was doing makeup.
Right.
Although I have no gray in my hair. I do not color my hair or anything like that. But people are the people on my physical appearance is pretty impressive sometimes. I will admit. People love talking witty. John's got another meeting with a beautiful woman in the men's bathroom. No.
Did we get to the bottom of it yet?
I don't think we have.
Have you been sought out?
I have not. Well, kind of, but it wasn't by her. I was sought out last night, but it was different situation.
Not in the bathroom. Yeah, just
also
not in the bathroom.
I just now see Kingsley's comment. Might not be talking facial hair here.
Oh.
John does not have
I'm not going to comment on that.
Doesn't even have a fake girlfriend or a real one. No disrespect, John. I'm just clearing your name from the allegations.
Oh, it's fine. Okay, y'all. You gotta relax a little bit.
I completely missed the joke on that one at first.
I did too. I thought it was honestly talking about it with my actual beard. Because I thought, I was trying to get the benefit of the doubt to our chatters, and thinking that they were just being a nice, really innocent question.
Hey, David Loki's been acting out lately. I've been noticing he's been a little disgruntled in the chat here lately.
Dude, there's been a lot of people.
But yeah, I
like David, man.
Yeah.
He's just now getting over the hog pen thing.
Yeah, jeez. King's Desires says, y'all stop being mean to John. And then he put the crying and laughing emoji. I don't think that's how that's going to be the message received, Kingsley. Say, y'all stop being mean to John, but you're laughing about it. I don't think that's what's going to keep it going. So, listen, I don't care. People can be mean.
Kingsley, were you going to see tonight, bud, or what? That's what I want to know.
I just now realized that he messaged me back when I sent him a message earlier. I was on the navigation. I wasn't able to be on my phone while I was driving. But yeah, we'll see Kingsley tonight. We'll figure something out.
It's good to know. David says it's the Nate Thompson thing that's got me ill.
Why has Nate Thompson got you rattled in the middle of November? Like, what's going on with Nate Thompson?
One of those things, man.
Hey, plus the Hogs were matching this fall, man. Like, Nasty Nate's got them boys swinging for the fences again. It's beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Also, John Nate Thompson for Halloween. Nate Thompson stock's at an all-time high as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, I don't think I pulled off Nate Thompson because Nate Thompson doesn't have a beard.
Yeah.
Either way. Mike's here's some people being nice. Mike says, I love your shows. Nothing better than John Curtis and Weird Al bringing us news on the Hogs.
Yeah.
I mean, agreed.
Hey, you got tagged in something in Twitter that was funny, by the way.
Did I?
Were you hanging out with Jackson Dart for Halloween?
No. Damn it. Was there someone that looked like me in there?
Yeah, I have to show it to you. Yeah, he's in the background. I retweeted the picture. Did you see this, by the way, John?
Wait. Hold on. I'm seeing it now.
I did not.
No, dude, that does look just like me.
It's great. It's uncanny.
Well, we got to pull this up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy. So Jackson, which by the way, I'm going to defend Jackson Dart's honor real quick.
We do need to talk about this. Yeah.
People are salty that Jackson Dart went to a Halloween party 2 days before a game. I think if your SEC quarterback is not partying on Halloween, that's a little bit of a concern.
That's a red flag. Right?
I mean, and also historically speaking, when SEC quarterbacks get really inebriated on Halloween and then have a game that Saturday, they typically do pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the SEC total yardage record still stands for Johnny Manziel.
Yeah. That's right.
Wish there was an easier way to make this happen. I'm gonna bring up this picture though, because I do want to see if people agree with it looking like Andrew. No, it doesn't matter. It gets sent to me. It's just if you save something off of Twitter, it's a stupid file, weird thing of a GIF instead of just a JPEG, in which StreamYard does not take. So I have to go into I got to go into Canva and then upload the picture through that. And then it's a thing. It's a whole thing. This is my life.
You like get mistakenly convicted of a crime.
Yeah, if that kid had done something obscene, that'd have been tough scenes. I just get tackled on the way to Dickey's Arena tonight. By the way, has anybody in the chat been to Dickey's Arena? Give us a rundown of the lay of the land or anything. We don't know much about this venue.
What do you need to know about it?
It's pretty new. I want to know, like, is it nice? Is it a dump? Like, good concessions? What they got going on? I haven't heard anything of it.
Well, I haven't been to it, but I'm sure it's nice. It's like seats 13,000 people.
I think it's the rodeo place. Yeah. Where the hell were you last night? I thought you were with us, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Hanging out with Jackson.
Okay. I can see the Dumb and Dumber costumes. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I see the
Hangover.
What was it? Alan is his name from The Hangover. But who is the guy that looks like Andrew? What is he dressed as? Is he dressed as anything?
He's dressed. I think that guy might be me for Halloween.
Yeah.
He's a podcaster from the state of Arkansas.
It's crazy.
A great costume, dude.
Yeah, with the like shorts and sneaks and everything. Huh. Yeah, I could see it. Looks kind of like Ellis.
You have an alibi?
Yeah, because I was on stream at the Leroy. Is my alibi. I think.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
Yeah. Well, yeah, Razorbacks over here is like, I save JPEGs from Twitter all the time. Okay, well, aren't you cool? I wish I could.
StreamYard.
Yeah. It's like, you save them to your phone because I'm having to do it from the desktop, Mr. Science. So take that. And then Mike says, Andrew, that's true. They just don't need to party in Fayetteville. They may end up like Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. I mean, Baker Mayfield, it worked out well for him as well. That's the general point. Is like it didn't derail Baker Mayfield's career that he was drunk on Dixon Street. It's if your quarterback's not out with the fellas on the weekend, your quarterback might be what's that guy Bo Callahan from draft day? Teammates didn't invite him, or none of his teammates showed up at his birthday party. Turned out to be why they didn't draft him number 1 overall.
brutal.
I think if Taylor Green was not being spotted on Dixon Street, I think we'd be a little bit like, whoa, what's going on?
Probably so.
Stallions allegations now.
Connor Stallion's allegations.
Yeah.
Oh, because I was like over there at all. Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah. That's
Jackson Dart. He's gonna be hammered for the game Saturday. We'll see.
Yeah, because Ellis and Sam Pittman have a lot of communication, and that's why he was Connor Stallions. He's over there. He said, "Hey, coach, here you go. Here's the goods. Here's the stuff.
Just make sure you get him a few more fireball shots. That'll be good, and then we'll put some pressure on him Saturday. It'll be good."
Jeez. Oh man. There's something else though I was going to bring up here in the chat, but I am not going to. I'm done.
Okay.
We've gone over our allotted time anyway.
What's up?
We've gone over our allotted time slot anyway.
That is true. That is true. And considering that I did half the show by myself, I mean, come on. Like, what do you expect? I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on here. I don't remember what I was going to say, but that's fine. Hey, you need to check out, though, Inside Arkansas, because the guys tonight are going to be there at Dickey's for Arkansas TCU. So we'll post-game action, pot of that nature, post-game action. It'll be happening. And then, of course, post-game coverage. Is that better?
Well, also, it's not pot of that nature tonight.
Pot at the Palace.
I can't even tell you how much I've struggled with that the last couple of weeks, man.
Yeah, we made a mistake.
What?
We made a mistake.
If I can plug us for a second, though, me and Curtis might be the only two human beings who are going to see this game tonight. Like, y'all don't have any confirmation that this event is even going to exist unless we tell you. So that's why you got to tune in tonight. So go ahead and clear that schedule. About 9:30, we'll be getting it going. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, hopefully nobody made a comment on rating the internet in Dickey's Arena. So hopefully Pinto can come through for you guys. But no, we cannot live stream it. I wish we could, but that's highly frowned upon for members of the astute media here. But we will have live updates on the website, so stay tuned to that. And then probably I don't know, we're like a 8 to 10 minute walk away, and we'll start the post game show and fill you in.
There you have it. And then we'll do pot of that nature post game tomorrow after the Ole Miss game.
Nailed it.
And yeah, I'm sure that one will go really well, and everyone will be really happy afterwards. So, anyways, that does it for us. Appreciate everybody listening and watching in. Be sure to subscribe to Inside Arkansas here on our YouTube page. Give the video a like because YouTube likes that. Check out our social media at Inside Arkansas, and also check out our website at InsideArkansas.com for all the latest and greatest up-to-date information on all things Razorbacks. We're going to keep it going from there. So, for Andrew Ellis, as well as Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel next Monday. Have a great rest of your day and weekend, folks, and we'll see you tonight for Pod at the Palace.